Hello and welcome back to the Cosme Commentary Podcast. Cos is back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Cos is back. You probably missed him for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Although he's only missed one. Audio issues. Today we talked about a few headlines. A bit of Liverpool in there. A lot of Liverpool in there.
Too much Liverpool.
So too much Liverpool. Napoli as well, having problems with their dressing room. Nabil Fekir pops up, and
not sure why.
Vincent Kompany had his testimonial. I forgot to mention the statue, but another time. Then we go into a really deep discussion about a certain incident in Italy, and it's a bit of a different thing to usual, but we really encourage you to have a look and give us comments on that, what you think. But just sit back, relax,
enjoy the show.
So it's been another quiet week, as you'd expect, because it is international break. Which continents have we got, Cos, that have got games that matter? Is Europe? They've got the qualifiers.
The European qualifiers, yes. Well, that's the draw card, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, like usually it's the South Americans don't have a competition on. Thank God. They don't even have qualifiers. I don't think so. That's nice.
There was just World Cup qualifying as well. Asia and Africa. But
right. Yes. Actually, no. Africa. They have. Oh, actually, they do have some qualifiers, but it's in like the lower stages.
It was early stages.
They had a competition though.
They did.
A competition. I don't know. I don't know if it's qualifiers or not. But so apparently it's this competition.
Yeah.
It's sort of like second tier to AFCON, right?
Okay.
So it's not AFCON, but it has special rules. The rules are teams can only take players that play club football in their home nation.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, so it's sort of like gets the football going.
So it's
locally.
It's the players from that country.
Yes,
but playing in that country.
So Senegal can only pick players that play in the Senegalese league,
and have to be obviously Senegalese.
Well, yeah. Well, it's still. So
that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently most of them use it as some sort of like a warm up for like to practice for the World Cup. I think.
Well, it can't be.
Sorry, not the World Cup, the Olympics. Under 23s.
Yeah.
Under 23s. So they get like the under 23s and they sort of use it to gel them and develop the squad.
That's not a bad idea. I like that.
Yeah. Well, it was great for Liverpool because they didn't have to send off Mane and Salah.
We're always going back to Liverpool.
Oh no! Well, look,
somewhere it's all related back to the Reds, isn't it?
I just thought I'd mention that.
Of course you did.
All teams in the Premier League with African players, but in particular Liverpool because their two top players.
Sadio Mane
and Salah, the two of the best players in the league, so they get hit the worst by African thing. That's why I said Liverpool specifically, but there are other players playing in other teams too, and throughout Italy and Spain, there's African players in there too. France is a lot there, so they're all happy that their players got to stay for an international break. That is rare. I think Salah got his first break in like 24 months or something like that.
I wonder what he did. What do you reckon he did? Just chill.
There was some Twitter posts and Instagram stuff and some banter with Milner and
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, apparently they love bantering together.
Well, you got to banter
on the socials.
Bantering's good.
Bantering's good.
Yeah.
All right. But well, I guess while we're still talking about Liverpool, I might as well continue on that trend.
Yeah.
Feel good story.
Yeah.
Actually, it's sort of like a bittersweet. The bitterness comes first. A 18-year-old Paul Glatzel, he got an ACL injury, young kid, in the academy at Liverpool. But Liverpool showed us a show of faith, extended his contract. Right? They did a contract extension.
He must be good.
Yeah, well, that's part of the thing. But I mean, it's sort of like because kids, right? Like in the youths and things like that.
So he's 18, you said?
He's 18, 18. Yeah. So
that's still
normal
very
contract.
young.
Yeah, still quite young, yeah.
Yeah, you don't really know how good these teens are going to become until they hit their early 20s, I reckon.
The kids, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, right? Like, there's a lot of uncertainty at that age because you get an injury, an ACL. Like his season's gone, right? Like he's
it's
done
hard
for the season.
it's hard to assess if they've peaked as well. Some people peak at that age and then they just don't improve from then on in. You know.
Yeah, well,
so it's
putting aside seeing these kids as tools for the club to use as players, the kid on a personal level, right?
Yeah.
Like in terms of his future, because generally these I think he's been at the club since he was 8 years old or something like that.
Oh,
So,
okay.
So like he's been there for a while, but
he's almost homegrown.
Homegrown. But what I was trying to get to was that these kids, live lives as well. They got family, or maybe not, like wives and kids and stuff. They got their parents and stuff like that, and they got to think about, am I going to make it? Am I not going to make it? They don't know yet, Like he's in the academy, he hasn't played first team football or anything like
absolutely, that.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's always this sort of question mark about like, oh no. And then if you get an injury like that, it's just a bigger question mark. You think I can't even show myself.
Your head will be all over the place, won't it?
So by giving him this contract, it's like a show of faith. Gives him, and he said that he's really glad. It means that he can focus on recovery. He doesn't have to worry about they're gonna extend my
absolutely
contract and things like that. Yep. So I just thought I'd throw that in there as a feel good story. And speaking of feel good stories, Vincent Kompany testimonial. He had a testimonial this week.
Did he?
Yes, he did. Yeah, he had a testimonial, which of course he was injured for, so he didn't actually get to play his own testimonial.
Yep.
There were a number of stars that Balotelli played. James Milner, Joe Hart, some smiles here from guys. Of course,
well, Balotelli, he needs the run.
That's true. He's been suspended. He's just waiting to get out there.
He needs the run. Yeah.
Look, just give me a run. He ended up a 2-2 draw against the better part.
Did Balotelli score?
No, he did not. But in the Premier League All Stars. Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Playing together.
They played together.
And Neville got injured.
Who?
Neville got injured.
Neville got injured. Was Carragher behind it?
Well, no, he wasn't. But he followed up with some tweets.
Oh, of course he did.
Hoping for a very serious injury. But I think that was with him knowing that I don't think it was too serious. And since they actually talk to each other, I don't think anybody should ever be.
This is why banter's good, isn't it?
So it's plenty of bands.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the bands now. I'm starting to see a bit more of it.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking into Twitter just as it's actually significantly better than Facebook for a newsfeed because it's just short, straight to the point. It's not what I thought it was. See, I used to think Twitter was just just a wall of incoherent speak, but you don't really see the comments unless you want to.
You don't see the comments unless you really
unless you go into it. So you just get all these news stories that are actually interesting. So thank you, Twitter, for being useful. That's the idea behind it. You got any stories here, Cos? I got some more, but
do I have stories?
Do you have stories? Headlines?
My headline is just look. It's nothing special. It's just very selfish. On me, Italy is still 100%.
Still 100%?
Yeah.
Poland is not. So I throw that in there.
You had to bring it down, didn't you? I was just on a high.
I did. All right. When you say 100%, is that 100% win?
Straight wins.
And were they all 1-0?
No.
2-0?
No. Well, they beat Finland 2-1.
That was a good win. A bit fortunate there.
But they got the win. And
2 penalties in that one, wasn't it?
2 penalties, one each. One for Finland and one for Italy. Although Italy's was dubious.
Well, one for Italy, one for Pukki.
And Pukki,
Team Pukki.
Team Pukki, he scored. But, and they beat Armenia. Yeah, 3-1.
Did you mean Andorra? Or was
that was a major stuff up. Actually, if you're not aware, because
I'll let you take that one.
Well, France played Albania in France, the Stade de France, I think it was, and they won 4-2. But who cares about that? What really happened?
Was it 4-2 or 4-1?
No, it was 4-2.
The
4-2,
result doesn't matter. Continue. I'm sorry.
Anyway, the action happened before the game when they were doing the national anthem because Albania were waiting, to sing their national anthem and
Passionate fans.
Passionate fans. Yeah,
patriotic.
Well, if you're travelling, geez, you're passionate. Yeah. And the French decided to play the Andorran national anthem, which was a bit of a mistake, wasn't it?
I think there's a lot of Albanians in France, so there would have been
there probably
there was probably a big contingent there, so they weren't too happy.
They were definitely not, and but then you got to apologise.
Yeah, you got to apologise,
which is a great thing. It keeps our society going.
And this was the Andorran anthem.
It was the Andorran anthem that they played. So then they had to apologise.
Who were off losing to somebody else in some other country.
So they apologised to Albania, but instead of saying sorry Albania, they said sorry Armenia. So they stuffed up again.
Oh my god!
So, which begs the question. Where was Austria?
Yeah, where was Austria? I thought they were going to...
The Austrians should be offended because they were discriminated against. Yep, they were forgotten.
Forgotten. But were they the only one of those teams in a different group? Or because I think Armenia is actually in the same group.
No. Armenia is with Italy and Finland.
Oh, right. I just...
Andorra is... Andorra is
in the same group. There we go.
But Armenia, sorry, is not. So
Austria discrimination,
and Austria is angry, and Albania are very angry, and they should be very angry. How do you stuff that?
That's
how do you do that?
That times two. That is, and it's not like Albania was newly formed or something. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there's a big Albanian contingent in France.
If you're the stadium announcer, you should know who you're playing.
Well,
it's been up there for months.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt.
When the fixture comes out for months, you know who you're playing.
Well, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that they had a script. The person who did the script did not do their job. Did not do their job.
That is bad execution.
Well, that actually makes it worse because there's the person who did the script and the announcer and the people who... I'm sure there were people in between there.
But surely the people working have an interest in football. Are these people just...
I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't, actually. Because they're just people that do that kind of stuff for all kinds of different things, They're just the in-between people. But that is
what a
terrible.
Sports interest in general. Surely.
I'm trying to be really nice here. I'm trying to give them all the benefit I can. Oh, all right.
Imagine that.
We'll
disgraceful.
We'll leave the French go there.
No. I'm not saying that the French are bad people.
No.
I'm just saying that these idiots.
I'm saying that these people that happen to
the people that
work
doing
in France
made errors at the expense of Albania.
But I'm not done with France.
You're not done with France.
Although I'm done with France as the nation, but now I'm going to move on to French player Nabil Fekir. Who obviously he
plays for Lyon.
So unfortunately, not anymore. He now plays for Sporting Lisbon, I believe. Portuguese team.
Oh.
He moved. Oh no! Sorry, no.
Well, I don't know where
he went to a
Turkey?
team in Spain that has the same colours as Sporting Lisbon, but not Sporting Lisbon. I think it was Leganes. It was a strange move. I can't remember.
What?
I am going to...
That doesn't make sense.
Fact check. I have to fact check because I'm embarrassing myself. Yeah, keep talking, Cos. Keep thinking. Think out loud.
Talking. I mean, Nabil Fekir.
Anyway, so Nabil Fekir, he moved, but he had this big... He was going to move to Liverpool, right? And
we knew that.
They actually had the video for him that he'd been signed.
The welcome
video.
Oh, right, yeah.
So see, the colours are the same. That's why I got confused.
Why did that fall through?
Real Betis. There we go.
Betis.
That's what this is about, right? So it fell through, right?
They had to... Betis had to replace Lo Celso.
Yeah, there you go. He's a completely different player, I think. But still,
someone
quality. You got to replace quality with quality.
Yeah.
But it was a bit strange that going from Lyon to
Betis.
Really, that is arguably just... I don't know, unless he's hoping
maybe Lyon wanted the money. And
he was the captain too.
Yeah, but
just weird.
If you're getting an offer that's more than what he's worth, you probably sell, and he'll get football there. So it's not like he's gonna. It's not like he's jeopardised his chance
Yeah,
to
but
move to a big club
at what
by
level?
going there. Huh?
It's like moving to the Championship.
Well, he will get the chance to play against Messi and
That's
Barcelona,
true.
Real Madrid, Atletico.
But
There are big clubs in there.
it was a big shock in the transfer window, but
Well, you didn't see that
no
coming.
one saw that coming. But the story.
Yeah.
So this comes back to Liverpool again. The world revolves around Liverpool. What can I say?
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Anyway, so he obviously that move failed, right? And then it was never clear why it failed. There was speculation. Some say it was because of his knee. Some say other things. But Fekir came out and said lies were said. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
It wasn't my knee. It was because of something else. And then Liverpool, like I thought I was going to go there, and then Liverpool just said no, and then that was it. Something along those lines. But then his agent came out
Yeah.
and did the same thing he did. He's saying Fekir's telling lies.
Oh.
That's not what happened.
No.
He there was he's talking about like his knee had nothing to do with it, but everybody knows what happened. Like he's saying he's trying to fool everybody. You know, he's saying that the Fekir is trying to fool, and I don't know who's telling the truth here. And on top of that, he said the thing that made it come. There were two things that were part of it. One was the knee, which was. But he said there was something that the Liverpool bosses were happy to sort of deal with, right? You know, they were gonna sort of go with it. The second thing was some sort of pseudo agent or something like that, coming in and trying to start a deal from scratch when they were supposed to do like the end. You know, they were meant to finish the deal, sign him, and then some pseudo agent or something. I don't know who he's talking about. We might find out in the coming. I might find out in the coming days because you won't give a crap.
I really don't give a damn.
No, you won't give a damn.
Yeah.
But some pseudo agent came in and just started trying to make a new deal, and then Liverpool just said, "All right, stuff this. We're not, we're not getting dragged into this." And they just said, "No, go away." And so I don't know what's going on, but he's apparently suing Fekir now.
Who? The agent?
Yeah, the agent.
Or the pseudo agent.
What is it called? For
dragging
his name through the mud.
Well, I'm sure I'll be very interested in Fekir's whatever happens to him.
All right, now we'll go to Italy. Finally.
Oh, yeah? What's happening over there?
We go into the thing. So, Napoli, right?
Yeah.
Carlo Ancelotti.
Yes.
Once again,
Yeah.
this revolves around Liverpool slightly.
What?
Because they're playing Liverpool in
The Champions League.
in the Champions League in a half a week. So I think this. So after this week of fixtures, midweek, Liverpool at Napoli, and they're having some renovations done at the changing rooms. Only the home section, though.
Only the home section. Oh,
only the home
should
part.
Be fine.
It's not done. It's supposed to have been done by this weekend. It has not been finished.
Oh well, that.
And Ancelotti is disgusted. He said it's unprofessional. It's not good enough. They filmed it. They filmed it. They filmed what it looks like.
I don't know why he's surprised. I mean,
not
only is this Italy, this is Naples. This is like the south. I mean, I'm not surprised. I mean, when you're in a town run by the mafia, things don't get done.
Unless you're in the mafia. But
well, yeah. But I would hope that.
Surely
I would hope Ancelotti's not in the mafia.
Mate, look at him. He looks like he is not only in the mafia, he's the godfather.
Well, to be fair, a lot of Italians look like they're in the mafia.
That's true. So that's not getting sorted, and he's not happy, and I don't think they're going to be.
Basically, what's going to happen is Napoli will use Liverpool's change rooms, and Liverpool will have to change outside.
Yeah, or the Napoli change, because they're still habitable. You can get in there, but it's just this stuff around. This stuff that hasn't been painted.
They'll send the Liverpool players in there.
Yeah.
Why would you go in there?
That's what they should do, but They apparently they hiked up ticket prices too, and Liverpool fans weren't too happy about that. The away tickets.
Section.
Yeah, the away tickets.
Yeah, because they know the English fans like to go. That's the thing. Yeah. They think these Inglés.
UEFA just put in maximum things for away tickets, right? To stop being capped.
Yeah.
And Napoli's just going, oh sweet. That's it. That's what we're going to charge. Which ended up actually increasing the money that they charged the season before. So they're like, oh well, we can go further. Okay, cool. Let's go. So they've gone with that. They're playing the mind games already, and I think Liverpool plans to do the same in the other direction. But
see, they're going to lose. They're going to lose.
Liverpool?
Because the Napolitans, they just won't go. They'll be like, nah, too much. I'll stay home.
Then they'll just
they don't understand how this works.
Well, Napoli's just going to get pummeled in that game.
Not only that, but the Napolitans, they're not going to go. They don't understand how this works. The Napolitans, they know the English will come. The Italians,
it's not a we're going to try and stop you from coming by hiking up prices. We're going to benefit from.
You're going to come.
You're going to give your English pounds to us, and we're going to take it, and we're going to laugh all the way to the bank. But
we may lose the game, but we're financially well. Yeah.
Well, at home, they should be in a good position to get a result, especially in the group stages when neither team should be too worried about the other two teams.
That's true.
So they'll probably come to a gentleman's agreement.
Let's be real here. Liverpool's a much better team.
So,
not much
Napoli,
better.
Napoli held off
better.
Juventus very well.
They're better.
And plus, it's midweek games. They're tired. They're not really up.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter.
Ancelotti is a genius. So you never know.
Yeah, well, Ancelotti's got some history with Liverpool too, doesn't he? It all comes back to Liverpool. But moving on from the headlines, we'll go into the. Just a preview of the fixtures coming up. And Liverpool opens up the fixtures against Newcastle. They got the early game. But there's no top six face-offs this week. But there's one every other week because there are 30 top six clashes every season.
Yep. So this is an off week.
Which is why, so this is an off week. But there are some battles for what is known in the Guardian podcast as the
mid-table,
the battle for the Everton Cup, which is 7th place.
The Everton Cup,
Cup, because Everton's always like the shoe-in for 7th. Like they're the 7th favourite for every season, and they're sort of. Yeah. But
there's some challenges to that.
Well, there's two.
Leicester's
playing. No, is it Leicester? Yeah, it is Leicester. Leicester's playing Manchester United.
Yeah.
And I think Wolves are playing.
They're in a bit of trouble, Man United.
Yeah,
I reckon. And Crystal Palace, they're the other surprise, aren't they?
Well, they're always getting these top six wins, which is
Crystal Palace.
Yeah, I don't.
They're uncanny, Crystal Palace.
Yeah. Well, they're playing Tottenham away.
Danger match for Tottenham.
Well, Crystal Palace have beaten all the top six teams away from home, except for Tottenham.
Oh.
In the last, what period that
Tottenham's
spans
due,
over.
Mate. They're due.
Yeah, they're due to lose. Oh, but sorry, yeah. Wolves is playing Chelsea.
Wolves is playing Chelsea.
So Wolves is playing Chelsea, and Manchester United is hosting Leicester. So that's two top. We'll call them.
Yeah, and they're not guaranteed wins for either of them.
Top 8 clashes. Well, no. Well, that's the thing here. The Wolves. Well, Wolves slightly less so because they've got the Europa League, but Leicester, they're Leicester, Everton, and Wolves to a lesser extent are battling for that. The opening, the gate crashing.
The gate crashing, yeah.
So it's and we don't know how high up they can go because
the sky's the limit. I would have thought.
Well, third place is definitely the limit.
Oh, third.
Third is as high as anyone will go.
That's what I meant. Yeah,
but
they're not going to get second.
Yeah, well, what's the gap now? The gap is let's just pretend that Crystal Palace is going to, and they will taper off eventually.
We said that about Leicester. Anyway.
But no, I wouldn't say that about Leicester this season. They're third now, and they're looking pretty good there. But anyway, 7 and 8, so there's a 5-point gap between first and third. and 2 points between second and third. So that's actually, considering that last week it was already that far off. That's not that big. But anyway, that's not what we're here about.
Still very close.
Yeah,
the league. Yeah, very competitive league.
Yeah, there's so many teams on 7 points. It's ridiculous.
I like that. It's competitive.
It is. And none of those teams on 7 points are Manchester United, Tottenham, or Chelsea. So,
yeah, we've got a league.
It's exciting. It's a league of batting for third place. But we don't care too much about unless there's something. Actually, Italy had a few interesting ones.
Did they? Yeah.
Well, they have. So don't come on. Let's come on. We're talking up Italy here. We can't just stop now because.
Well, Fiorentina is playing Juventus. Yeah.
Fiorentina has lost both games, haven't they?
They have.
That is unfortunate. Yeah. It is unfortunate, and I think that was the only interesting one. Yeah, that was in. I'm sorry.
Well, it's always interesting. It's always interesting who AC Milan's playing. Who are they playing this week?
Verona, and they're away. But next week,
look. It doesn't matter if they drop that. My God.
Well,
I can't even go there if they drop that game.
Well, it's still away from home.
That is no excuse.
And Verona is in 7th place right now with a win and a draw.
Oh,
they are undefeated.
Unbelievable.
First 2 games of the season, they are undefeated.
And they're higher than Milan.
Against Lecce.
Oh, unbelievable win. Jeez.
I was at Lecce, and they drew at home to the mighty Bologna. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Bologna's not bad.
Yeah, actually. Milan, if they drop that, it's over for them. And it won't be good for them. It doesn't get any better because the Milan derby is next week. So they're going to have to really get
in my experiences, anything can happen in the derby.
No matter how terrible.
No matter how, but Inter really should win that game.
Yeah, they should. Once it gets to that. So, the other leagues, like I said, we don't particularly care that much about them. But since we're in Italy,
are we?
We are in Italy. Yeah. We just talked about Italy.
Oh, I wish I was actually in Italy. Anyway,
guess.
I can dream.
I want pizza now.
I can dream. Do you? No, it's not too late.
I kind of.
It's not too late.
We can still. No, we can't.
Yes, all right. We can. Never say no.
The scenario. Let's think. Cos, what happened in Italy? Was Cagliari and
Cagliari were playing Inter in Cagliari. Cagliari, sorry, and it was 1-1. Inter won a penalty. Lukaku stepped up, put it in, and the fans did not react in a manner that you would expect. So
depending on how much time you've spent in Italy, but. In Cagliari anyway.
It's probably expected in Cagliari.
Yeah, exactly.
But in these parts of the world, but
chants,
as
in chance.
Yeah, chance
with a T.
Chant.
Yeah, chant.
Yeah.
Of which the singular version is chant.
Yeah,
sorry, that sounded like yes.
I was thinking of Monopoly.
Yeah, Monopoly. The mustache came.
Go back 3 spaces.
There. Yeah. Go to jail.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Oh.
But yeah, they decided to chant of the monkey variety, and that's what happened.
And that's sort of the background to it, because what the real thing that happened that sort of caught everyone's attention was an open letter from Inter Milan fans.
Yes.
So the what are they called? The ultras. So
they're like the equivalent of the hooligans.
The Green Street Hooligans of Inter Milan. So they obviously Lukaku plays for them.
Lukaku, he does. Yep, plays for Inter.
And they almost. So they love Lukaku, right?
Because they do. Because undoubtedly, they love this guy.
But the way they phrase the letter, it doesn't sound like they do, because they stepped up to defend the Cagliari fans, which is you kind of go, wait, what? Whose side are you on here, right? Because they said, all right, look, it was funny what they said actually. The way they phrased it was, I say funny in the sense that it's just
strange.
It is
It's
not.
strange.
It's a logical paradox, sort of what they're saying. They're saying,
Well, first they had, I don't know if it's arrogance or ignorance, but either way, first they said Italy does not have the racial problems of the other countries.
I think they said that afterwards, actually. But yeah, that was part of the letter.
They said that. It was part of the letter. And I don't know if it was arrogance or ignorance, but that's what they said.
We don't have the issues that other countries do.
Yeah, we're not, you know. So they said that, and they also said that the Cagliari fans don't actually hate you, and they're not racist. They're afraid of you because you can hurt them. You can score 2 goals, 3 goals against them.
Which is true.
Which is true. He is capable.
So far, this is all true.
He is capable of scoring 3 goals and destroying the game, right? So they said they do this to you to essentially, because they're afraid that you're going to destroy them. So they're just trying to, I guess, put you off and make you not play as well.
Rile you up.
Rile
you up, sorry. Rile, with an R-I-L-E.
Oh, rile you up, yeah.
Sorry.
It's
a bit hard to hear me because I'm...
roll you up. And that's basically what they said. They said that the Cagliari fans are not racist. They're just afraid. They're afraid of your ability. Afraid of your ability. These are not quotes. This is from what I remember of what I read.
It's paraphrasing.
I'm paraphrasing. Yeah, absolutely. But that was the gist of it.
Yeah, the peculiar thing about it is that obviously, clearly...
And keep in mind, these are fans that when he arrived in Milan, they welcomed him at the airport with open arms,
and they still do.
Cheers, and they still do. They chant his name, everything.
So here we've got clearly a different perception of what it is to be racist, because it's not that wasn't a racist thing. It's like that. I don't think they even said they're not. They just said they're just flat out that wasn't even racist. Like not only that the Cagliari fans are not racist, which like that really depends on your definition of racism, but they're saying that what they did wasn't racist. I think then that's just
I think
not
like,
that can't be that can't be true.
No, it can't be true.
Because you know they're giving monkey chants,
true.
right?
No.
They're doing monkey chants because he's black, right? Like it's just
because
there's
look,
there's no high, like, you know.
For example, if Juventus go there and Gonzalo Higuain's playing, he can score 3. Ronaldo could score 5. They're not going to do the monkey chants, are they?
They'll do something else. They'll try and
they will do.
If they can find a way.
That's what I mean. If they can find any way to put that player off, they'll do it, right? And I just think because, you know, Lukaku is
a sign of respect, mate. It's a sign.
Well, yeah, it's a sign of respect. but literally, it's because
that isn't respect of his ability, because they're saying they wouldn't do this to someone.
It is, but
who they don't care about.
They do the monkey chants only because he's black, and they think it's going to work because he's going to be put off. He's not going to score. We can win. And
he's a good player.
So exactly. That's the other thing.
They're pitching in for their team by doing this thing, and it's terrible, right? It's terrible.
No, we don't condone. We don't condone.
We shouldn't have to say this, and we won't.
Yeah, I know,
because,
but we have to because, you know, who knows?
Well, it's just a terrible thing, right? But it's a perception thing, because it's clear that because the Inter fans are speaking straight from the heart, right? They're just straight out.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, no, look, don't worry. It's not racist. They're just, you're good, and they want to put you off. Like that doesn't make it not racist.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's racist, but they also just want to put you off. That's the thing.
See, they don't separate the two. They're
that's right. That's right.
It's okay because they're doing it because they're pure of heart. Basically, they're saying their motives are not racist. Their motives are to help their team. That's
the motive.
That's what.
Right?
That's
but they
what
are doing racist things to help their team.
But
that's all. That's all it is.
But it's pure of heart. Pure of heart. Sorry.
But I say that's all it is, but it's a serious issue, obviously.
Look, we're talking in we're having a bit of a laugh about this, and once again, it's not. This is a horrible thing that obviously needs to change.
Well, I guess we're laughing at the perception of it. Really, that's what we find funny
because it's different.
It's
so
different,
foreign.
Yeah. It's to us, yeah.
I mean,
it really is.
I understand where it's coming from in a sense, but it's not a place of understand but not condone sort of thing. It's like I understand where the logic was broken.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like you can see. It's like it's like when you're doing a math equation. It's like this is where they stuffed up. Okay, that's how they got to the completely wrong conclusion. But talking about things like this, it can be. I think these things, it can be a bit of the
touchy, emotional,
gasoline on a fire. It's
a volatile.
It can go wrong very easily.
Yeah,
very easily.
Yeah.
And I like to compare it to trying to play football of any sort. This can be rugby, NFL, AFL on ice without skates and just not the proper gear. Just going on ice. Have you ever played on like those outdoor sort of synthetic grass pitches? After it's rained.
Probably when I was young.
It's just constant, gushing past the ball. You can't really. You can't change direction. Once you commit to a direction, it's very hard to change.
I remember. Yeah, I was at the club. I was playing, and
and that is what having a conversation about a controversial topic. And this is sort of like at the controversial topics go up to a 10. This is probably a 3, and people get very touchy about it because it's obviously
this one's a 3.
Yeah, I mean, like next to politics and religion, because politics and religion have clear sides. Racism, most people are on the same side, but they're still touchy about it. So, in that sense,
I understand.
In that sense, there's no butting of heads of contrasting views.
Yeah, there aren't many people saying yes, we should be racist. Racism is good. There's not many. I don't think
even the racists are saying, "Oh no, we don't have these problems here in Italy. We don't have these problems that other parts of Europe have." It's just a ridiculous statement to have.
That part was ridiculous. Yeah.
I mean, racial abuse. All right. We want to have a discussion here, right? Just about. We're not going to solve this problem.
We're definitely.
We're just two guys in a room, sitting next to a flower wall, with a laptop in front of us and some, cheap recording gear. What are we going to do? But it's worth having a discussion and to just sort of lay this out a bit because when people do have this discussion, they're always sliding past each other. They're not playing by the same rules.
That's what I think. They're coming from two different viewpoints. Well, they're not even viewpoints. They're comparing it to different things. Yes. They? So one person will be comparing racism to something worse, and the other one will be comparing it to something like, I don't know, a utopian society. I guess.
Well, it's deep ingrained.
It's those differences.
Yeah.
That mean that you're just not going to come to any sort of logical agreement or anything because you're just thinking about two different things.
Well, the world's defined.
Two different perspectives.
You can be using the same words, but they mean something completely different. It's like... It's worse than speaking a different language because...
Is it?
At least when you speak a different language, you just have no idea what they're saying. Whereas here, you think you know what they're saying, but it's a different word.
Really,
And it's probably helps to just sort of establish what are we after here, because racial abuse, right? Because that's what this is, right? This is racial abuse.
Absolutely, it is.
It's terrible, right? But why is it terrible? No one really stops to think about that.
Why is it terrible?
Well, think about this, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Sorry.
I'll I'll let you talk.
No.
Soon.
No. I mean, I was going to say something, but you had more.
Yes. I'll just lay this down. Because racial abuse is part of a massive spectrum, right? racism. Just racism covers so many things, right?
Yeah.
It can go from a casual racist remark, or even just a casual sort of like a accidental racist remark of some sort that can be on the scope of things quite harmless.
Yep.
All the way down to genocide, where you want to kill people because they're of a certain race. You know? And somewhere in between, where you think that people are less human than others.
These are you've gone from the minimum to the extreme.
Yeah.
So and there's obviously in between.
And most of the people, as soon as you throw the word racism in, they go to either end of the scale. So if someone is maybe less pushed around by racism, let's just say, they're thinking, look, it's just a harmless thing, this, that. The other person's thinking, this is going to lead to genocide, Yeah. And straight away, the word racism, which you would think people understand what it is, has completely different meanings. And you're not having the same discussion.
That's it. It has different meanings to different people. The word itself,
Where were you heading with your thoughts just before I interrupted you?
I forgot. I'm just completely.
Just got lost in my great philosophical.
Yeah.
Right, but so it would help to just define. Okay, so racial abuse. So it's racism, right? Racism is a form of discrimination. Discrimination can be all kinds of things. It can be sexism. It can be ageism. It can be... I've heard ableism. I'm not sure if you've heard of ableism.
Ableism.
So ableism is to do with...
what is that?
People with disabilities and people with not disabilities. So like that spectrum, So
what a word. Ableism.
Yeah, I know. It's a...
It comes up with these words.
Yeah, the words are quite strange. But the point is that there's a big spectrum of, discriminatory things where people get discriminated against.
Yeah.
And people... Once again, discrimination. Well, what is discrimination? Like, people just don't understand that. And some people, they'll laugh off discrimination. They won't even see something as discrimination. But as soon as it becomes racism, then it becomes... suddenly, the discrimination part comes into play, and it's just, once again, all the way to genocide. So discrimination is when you have prejudice, right? Which... once again, needs to be defined. Prejudice being you're having thoughts about someone or acts or something that are false. A preconceived opinion that's not based on reason or actual experience. So it's thinking or saying something which is untrue based on just
your influence.
Yeah, you've got these things that these tricks that your mind plays on all of us. Yeah, everybody's mind plays on them. There's a whole bunch of logical fallacies, as they're called, and people will just fall into the trap every time. And that's what part of discrimination is. It's this your brain's playing tricks on you, making somebody of a different race appear to be inferior, sometimes superior, but here we're really worried about inferior when there's subhuman sometimes even. That's
where it gets bad.
Yeah, it gets really bad.
That's what we're focusing on.
And the monkey chants, right? That if at its worst is saying that
you're unevolved.
You're a monkey. You're not evolved. That's why that is so bad, and that's terror. That is just,
absolutely.
That is
you don't do it.
So it's not even you don't do it. It's just
you shouldn't even be thinking it. Really, I mean, why is that even in your head?
I mean, I understand back in the day when there were people that hadn't seen people with darker skin before, and they just don't know what they're looking at. You know what I mean?
Well, we're
well past that now.
Yeah.
We're well past that. So. And I would hope that anybody who lives outside of an isolated tribe in the middle of a forest or an island would know that there are humans of a very, very distinct variety of colours. And to not think, this is something else. No, that's just a human, right? So that's...
Well, yeah.
That's a big issue there, and then of course the discrimination. The last part of it is it's different categories of people, And in this particular case, this form of discrimination, it's not something you can hide. You know, especially the darker skin you have, you know, then the more obvious it is that, you know, you belong to a certain group of people, which you can't hide. Something that has you have A, no influence over, and B, doesn't actually truly reflect what people are, you know.
Oh yeah,
this prejudicial thought.
That's
you know,
right.
Whatever it may be, such as being unevolved or something like that. It's a tough place to be, and the reason it's so terrible is it's so isolating. I mean, can you imagine, right?
Yeah.
You just walk into a place and you know straight away from the get go you're marked, right?
It's no good.
And the reason why racism is obviously so shunned and blah, you know, it's metaphorically punched in the face at every opportunity.
Yeah.
Is because, you know, we don't want people to unjustly feel like they don't belong, because we're past that. We're moving past that. You know, we're trying to bring everybody in here. Of course, the solution, which of course we're not going to come up with, but we know what isn't going to work. Banning people from stadiums. Cos, how do you take that? Like,
look, you can ban people from stadiums and silence the crowd. It's just, what are you doing? Honestly, what are you doing? Because, look, banning people, right, and silencing them is not a genuine reflection of where society is at. It's just not. You can ban them. All they're going to do is, A, not turn up, right? B, they may turn up and not say anything, right? All it's going to do is make them angrier, right?
Well, once they're banned, you know, like, let's assume once they're banned, they're
so
gone.
They're not
coming back.
So these people who are already angry are going to get angrier, right? They're going to get angrier. They're going to talk to more people. They can potentially get more people to be racist because they're just angrier, right? No one's talking. They're just getting angrier.
They're being fueled.
They're being fueled.
And justified as well.
Justified.
Well, in their heads, you know. They're saying to themselves, oh, these guys are being unreasonable.
All you're doing is making people angrier, and eventually there's going to be a retaliation. And the retaliation is going to be a lot worse than what you're seeing in the stadium. That's just what's going to happen, right? My solution is more of like an education thing and a chance to change perceptions genuinely, you know. Because if you've got people who are genuinely going to stadiums and are no longer doing the chants, that's a much better result than simply banning people and just sweeping the problem under the carpet, essentially. Because the people aren't, by being banned, they're not just going to say, yeah, I'm not going to be racist anymore.
You're right. You know what? You're right.
You're right.
I'm going to stop being racist.
I'm going to stop now, and I've learnt my lesson. No, you're dreaming. That's just not going to happen.
Well, I don't think anyone believes that's going to happen, but they don't think about it because in their head, problem not seen, problem not exist.
I get that you know, they want to stop, you know, racism, which is what we want as well. I just don't agree with that method.
Well, the thing is, Cos, you aren't alone.
I don't agree. I think it's it does not reflect society. That thing, it's just suppressing people.
Well, here's what's happening.
You can't do that.
You've got a bunch of people who are clearly, you know, not seeing things the way that
I'm seeing.
Most of society sees. You know, like most people will point at that and say, "All right, that's not cool. You shouldn't do that."
No.
Right? So we're now taking these people out of the stadium in this environment, which is 90 whatever percent. A high percentage of people who, you know, don't like that, don't agree with that.
Yeah.
And we're taking them out and putting them into an echo chamber where they're going to be talking to people where 95% of the people are like that. And they're just reinforcing their views. And some of those people that they're talking to haven't been banned from the stadium, right? You can't just ban everyone. It's like
well, not all of them.
It's
will
like
be
jails.
banned, no. Yeah,
it's like jails. You can't throw everyone in jail for doing, something that it's rude. I don't know. They were rude to you at the bus stop or something like that. It's not cool, but you don't throw people in jail for that, and we don't do that. And there's a good reason for that, because there's been plenty of studies that show that, obviously rehabilitation is much better. And obviously there's going to be people that just, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and teach them, whatever, they're not going to come around, right?
Some people,
ban them. Like, that's fine, right? Like, if people are being terribly unreasonable, like, if you make an effort to say, look, all right, like this is how it's supposed to be. This is look, understand. This is where we're coming from. This is why we don't do this. Not just we don't do this. For those with kids or without kids, or remember being a kid, how often your parents said, "Don't do this." What reaction did that get out of you? Do you remember that, Cos, as a kid? Made you want to do it more, didn't it?
Well, it made me upset.
Yeah,
It depends what I'm doing. But
if
I'm doing something that I think is harmless or just not that bad,
and
then I really like doing it or whatever, and I'll be upset.
But then if they're not around, then you'll.
If they're not around, you'll
do it. You'll do it.
You're careful, and you do.
You're careful. You're careful. You make sure that you don't get seen, which is hard to do in the stadium because there's cameras everywhere. But that's just it. I mean, sometimes you weren't even thinking about doing whatever that was, right? It could be something that you hadn't done before. Like, don't do this. Okay, well, now that you've mentioned it, that's really. I'm curious. What would happen if I did this?
Yeah, that too.
Makes you want to do it more, and telling somebody you can't do this without them understanding why they can't do it or shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
it just makes them want to do it more, and you think, well, and that's what's happening here,
Not do it more, do it worse.
Yeah, well, and also they get angry at you because
they get angrier,
because like you're preventing me from just doing something that I perceive as being harmless. You're taking this too far, but like for it to get to a stage where like a monkey chant is fine that's pretty extreme.
That's not okay. And look, I understand why they want it stopped quickly, because obviously the players on the end of that abuse are copping it, and at the end of the day, it's not good for their health mentally as well, and it would affect them, quite severely. So obviously, we all want to see it stopped. However, banning them, in the short term, I think it'll be effective. It'll work. Everything will be rosy. But in the long term, no, it won't be.
And one more thing on that, because the fact that you're banning them straight out, flat out, right?
Yeah.
That tells me you don't understand why they shouldn't be doing that. Because if you can't explain to somebody, if you can't find a way to educate someone and say, all right, that means you don't understand why racism is bad, and that's the problem for me. The problem for me is not even that these guys don't understand. It's the fact that the people enforcing this, the people that are pushing this, and most of the people,
like one of those things like racism is bad. Why? Racism is bad.
Yeah, that's not helping anyone.
How dare you question me?
Yeah,
that's what they're like. Yeah,
and that happens with
people are like.
A lot of things. It's happening like that now, and which is why we felt important to bring this out, have this discussion, being able to talk about this like normal human beings.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we said anything controversial now.
Well, I think
we've been pretty.
If you really want to find something, I reckon you can.
Oh well, feel free to have a chat with us if so. But I mean, I don't think we'd find many people that would disagree with what we just said from both sides of that discussion. And when I say both sides of that discussion, people aren't looking out to be, well, let's see how we can be a racist today, you know. I really do love this perception that people have that you know, you need to have a bad guy, you know. You need to think the worst
of someone, or your opponent,
yes,
or whatever, you know. Yeah.
And there's this perception that people go out saying, let's be like people that would do something. Let's just say people do something that's racist, just out of naivety, they're just idiots, right? They don't understand. Okay,
but again, that's part of the motivation, isn't it? Why are you doing it?
Well, yeah, I think there's two parts to it. I mean, it's what the damage is done, right?
Because if you're doing that stuff to intentionally hurt that person,
yeah,
and you're doing it to destroy them,
or
whatever,
or to isolate them, to make them feel like they're not part of, you know, like to make them feel like an outsider.
If that's why you're doing it, you're a disgrace.
Yeah,
right. If you're doing it, if your motivation though is like, oh, I just want to put you off so my team wins, it's still the same result. They still feel, you know, isolated.
But we can work with that.
But your motivations aren't as bad. So therefore, you're not understanding really what you're doing. What you're doing is much more than what your motivations are, essentially.
Well,
you know what I mean?
That doesn't make it more okay. But
no, it does
But
not.
it brings a point.
Absolutely.
That motivation is an important factor as well as the outcomes. It's not just about, you know, what happened. It's about what is driving this. And the reason that that's important is because if someone is deep down looking to, you know, make the person feel left out, it's like, oh, you're a subhuman, and genuinely feels that.
That's what I'm saying. If that's your motivation, you're a disgrace.
Well,
right?
but the thing about that is that's harder to deal with. When someone's doing it out of, I'm doing this out of a completely unrelated context, I'm trying to put you off your game so my team wins, you can work with that.
You can work with it. You can change that opinion. Which I think that's most people's motivations. Obviously, you get some extreme people who just don't care, and that's what they want to do. They just want to destroy people and blah, blah, blah. Those people you can't work with, and there's always going to be that element of society, unfortunately. But most people, you know, even if they're doing it, they're not extreme. They're just, I just want to help my team, or I was, you know, and you can, and like you said, you can work with those people.
And the key is we want to, because you really want to fish out. You want to get rid of the people that are, you know, the real bad apples. You know,
that's right.
They're the ones you want to get rid of. Not everyone who says something that resembles racism.
That's right, because even those people who are just doing it, you know, to help their team, even if you talk to them and are able to change their opinion, even they will say, yeah, these guys probably shouldn't come. Even they will start turning on the extreme ones.
And they'll be the influencers.
That's right.
And they'll take care of the problem for us.
Potentially, yes.
Because
Whereas instead, if you're just banning everyone and lumping them all in the same, that's going to be worse. Short term, yeah, it'd be great. But nah, long term, no. Because it's just going to get, people are going to get angrier, and they're going to get, you know, going to the stadium, that's a big part of their lives, especially the ultras. You know, the football club is a big part of their lives. You can't take that away from them.
That is their life project. That is why what they look forward to at the end of the week. That's their sort of the ray of sunshine
They live for the stadium, the atmosphere, the thrill. They live for that stuff.
And getting behind their team.
Yeah.
But if we want to stop the racism stuff, I mean, the real way you need to get those insiders. So you need to influence.
Yes.
You need an influence, and by banning people from stadiums, you're basically getting rid of the weapon you can use to actually.
That's a good point.
Change perception, and that is, well, for us, that it's just silly, it's irresponsible. And
well, it's just going to keep going,
and it's just going to cause this, and
it won't be fixed.
That's it. It won't be fixed, and it does my head in with so many people saying this has got to change. Things have got to change. But nobody's looking for change. People are just looking for let's please the masses. Let's get this guy out of here, and job done. No, job's not done because now you've just put a guy back into the ocean
it's this simple
to make
thinking.
it worse.
It's this simple thinking, easy way out thinking.
Short term
thinking. Yeah, just quick fixes. This is not a quick fix. It's just not. And we can't be thinking like this. We've got to be thinking more long term. And we've got to be thinking of more sophisticated ways of dealing with this. And you've heard our opinions.
I think it's a good start.
And, yeah.
We would encourage any discussion on this point as well, because
call us racist if you want, but I don't think we are.
I think that would be a bit harsh to go there, but
Well, I don't think we are. We've clearly said we don't want racism in the stands.
So I think our consciences are clear, but feel free to come in and please, have a chat if you have any ideas as well, because opinions are gold to us. We love interaction. We'd love to get some interaction. But we'll finish on a higher note. Yeah. Although for you, cause I don't think you care that much about this.
Is it Liverpool again?
It is not Liverpool.
Oh,
Australia have retained the Ashes.
Oh,
and that's it.
God.
That's all I have to say. They're playing right now in a dead rubber. Cos loves the Ashes so much. That's his head banging on the table.
Look, we did win the Ashes. I don't care, but I should care, but I don't.
You don't,
and that's it.
And that's good. That's a good. But that's a positive note. Is Australia won the Ashes? Australia won the Ashes. Yeah, Australia won the Ashes. It's a positive note. That's it. We don't have to go any further.
I respect. Wait a second.
All right.
It's a positive note for the country.
Yes, it is.
It's a proud moment.
Yep.
I unfortunately cannot appreciate it as much as I should.
And there's an honest man.
And that's an honest man. That's it.
I'll wrap this up.
The other week, your team's good. And my team was good last round. What did I get? 67. Is that a good score? It seems pretty good.
It's above average.
I beat the average.
It's a bit, yeah.
When you're beating the average, you're doing all right, aren't you?
You did good. How you doing in the table? But yeah.
Well, which table?
So Cos is officially interested in fantasy league now. He's gone from a 1 to a 3. So
1 to a 3
in interest in the fantasy league. So now it's sort of he's curious now. So
look, I just look at the results. I'm like,
he'll be sad next week. All right, this is the time to announce next week we will be having a guest. We're going to have a 3.
Yes,
three people. Me, Cos, and Abdul.
Abdul is back.
Abdul will be back next week. Yep. We're going to be talking about the backstories to what goes on behind the scenes in football. So that's going to be interesting.
Is this a specific focus on Michael Owen's new book?
Potentially, but to find out more, tune in next week.
That's it.
Until then, check out our YouTube channel, which has some cool videos on there. If you haven't checked them out, some stale ones, we'll have to update them one day, but not for now. And obviously subscribe if you enjoy it, and subscribe to our podcast.
Yes.
And comments, most importantly.
That's what we do now. Podcast is better.
So thank you for listening, everybody, and we'll speak to you again next week.
Take care. Hope your team wins.